Long before the Great Wall, before the emperors, and even before farming, China's story begins in the Stone Age. This was a time when early humans relied on simple tools made of stone to survive. Let's travel back in time to explore the Paleolithic and Mesolithic periods, the earliest chapters of China's history. The Paleolithic period, also known as the Old Stone Age, began around 2.5 million years ago and lasted until about 12,000 years ago. During this time, early humans in China lived in small tribes, hunting animals and gathering plants to survive. Their main tools were made of stone, crafted by hammering rocks into sharp edges. While they also used wood and bone, stone tools were the most important because they were durable and versatile. Over thousands of years, these early humans evolved. They started creating art, holding rituals, and even burying their dead with care. These were the first signs of culture and spirituality in human history. In China, evidence of early Paleolithic life has been found in many places. Some of the oldest sites, dating back over 1 million years, include the Yuanmu man stone tools and the Lantian human culture. These early cultures were similar to those found in other parts of the world, but they had their own unique characteristics. One of the most famous discoveries is the Peking man, found near Beijing. These early humans lived in caves and used simple stone tools. While they didn't have the advanced tools seen in some other parts of the world, they were skilled survivors in their environment. During the Middle Paleolithic period, which followed, life in China didn't change much. People continued using similar tools and techniques. Sites like Dingkun in Shanxi province show us that progress was slow but steady. One thing that set China apart was the lack of a specific stone tool-making technique called levallois, which was common in the West. Despite the slow pace, these early humans were laying the groundwork for future advancements. By the late Paleolithic period, things started to change. The number of archaeological sites increased, and tools became more advanced. In northern China, people continued making small stone tools, while in the south, new cultures emerged with their own unique styles. One interesting discovery is the Shuidonggu culture in Ningxia, which shows similarities to cultures in the West. This suggests that there may have been some exchange of ideas between East and West, even in these ancient times. After the Paleolithic came the Mesolithic period, also known as the Microlith Age. This was a time of transition, lasting from about 10,000 to 7,000 years ago. People began making smaller, more refined stone tools called microliths. These tools were often used as parts of larger tools, like arrows or knives. Cultures like the Sichuan in Shanxi and the Shaiyuan in Shaanxi show us how humans were adapting to their environment and preparing for the next big step in history, the Neolithic period, when farming would change everything. Survival, adaptation, and slow but steady progress. From the first stone tools to the dawn of farming, these early humans laid the foundation for one of the world's oldest and most enduring civilizations. Join us next time as we explore the Neolithic period, the birth of agriculture, and the rise of ancient Chinese culture. Thousands of years ago, China's story began with the Neolithic era, a time when humans shifted from simply gathering food to producing it. This period marked a huge step forward in human history. People started farming, formed tribes, and created tools and art that reflected their growing creativity. Let's take a closer look at this fascinating time. The Peiligang and Sichuan cultures are among the earliest known Neolithic cultures in China. These communities were some of the first to practice farming, but they still relied on hunting, fishing, and gathering wild plants. They used stone tools for farming and made pottery by hand, which they fired at very high temperatures. Their pottery was decorated with patterns and even paintings, showing their artistic skills. These cultures were mainly found in what is now Henan and Hebei provinces. Archaeologists have discovered grains, animal bones, and farming tools at their sites, proving that farming was becoming a major part of life. Interestingly, some of their pottery designs and building styles were passed down to later cultures, like the Yangshao culture. One of the most amazing discoveries from this time is the Jiahu Gudi, a flute made from bone found at the Jiahu site. It's over 7,000 years old and is the oldest playable musical instrument in the world. This shows that music was already an important part of life back then. Next came the Yangshao culture, which thrived along the Yellow River. This culture is famous for its colorful pottery, often decorated with geometric patterns and images of animals like fish and pigs. The Yangshao people lived in large villages, some covering several square kilometers. Their homes were often round or square, built partly underground, and they stored their food in pits. One of the most well-known Yangshao sites is Banpo village in Shanxi. This village had hundreds of homes, storage pits, and even a cemetery. The people here farmed millet and raised animals like pigs and dogs. Their tools included stone hoes, knives, and axes, showing how advanced their farming techniques were. After the Yangshao culture came the Longshan culture, which spread across a wider area and brought even more advancements. The Longshan people built walls around their villages for protection, suggesting that conflicts between communities were common. They also developed more specialized tools and pottery, including thin, delicate eggshell pottery used for rituals. Evidence of religious practices, like bone divination and ancestor worship, shows that their society was becoming more complex. Social differences began to emerge, with some people holding higher status than others. Despite these changes, the Longshan culture maintained strong connections with neighboring communities, sharing ideas and traditions. The Neolithic era laid the foundation for China's rich history. From the early farming communities of the Peiligang and Xishan cultures to the artistic achievements of the Yangshao and the advanced society of the Longshan, this period was a time of incredible growth and innovation. These ancient cultures set the stage for the civilizations that would follow, shaping the China we know today. Now, we're diving into one of the most fascinating periods, the Bronze Age. This era shaped China's culture, politics, and society in ways that still influence the country today. Let's explore how it all began. China's Bronze Age didn't happen overnight. It developed over centuries, divided into early, middle, and late stages. Some experts split this period into 4 phases: the peak, the decline, a revival, and the final decline. Others break it into 5 smaller stages, each tied to different dynasties like the Shang and Zhou. Bronze cultures across China were unique, with each region having its own style. The oldest bronze objects ever found in China date back to around 2900 BCE, belonging to the Majiayao culture in Gansu. But the real golden age of bronze came during the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties. This was when bronze wasn't just a material. It was a symbol of power, used for rituals and weapons. Take this massive bronze vessel, the Humuwu Ding. It's the heaviest and largest bronze piece ever found in China. It wasn't just a pot, it was a statement of political strength. Now, let's talk about the early Tu culture, often seen as the start of China's Bronze Age. This culture wasn't just about one site. It was a network of hundreds of locations sharing similar traits. The early Tu site itself is thought to be the capital of the Xia dynasty, one of China's earliest dynasties. The early Tu culture marked a shift from small competing groups to a unified royal state. It's been called the earliest China, laying the foundation for the Shang and Zhou dynasties that followed. Next, we move to the Erligang culture, named after a site in Zhengzhou, Henan. This culture bridges the gap between the early Tu and the late Shang dynasty. Discovered in the 1950s, Erlangen was a key center of early Bronze Age life. Archaeologists found evidence of a thriving society here, with connections to other important sites like Liulij and Donggangu in Luoyang. This was a time of growth and innovation in bronze craftsmanship. Finally, we come to the late Shang dynasty, centered in Anyang. This is where we find Yangshao, the first well-documented capital in Chinese history. Dating back to around 1300 BCE, Yangshao is a treasure trove of ancient artifacts. Over 150,000 oracle bones have been found here, with more than 5,000 unique characters. These inscriptions are the earliest known form of Chinese writing, giving us a glimpse into the lives, beliefs, and politics of the Shang people. Alongside the oracle bones, archaeologists have uncovered thousands of bronze weapons, jade pieces, and pottery. These artifacts tell the story of a sophisticated society that valued art, ritual, and power. The Bronze Age was a turning point in China's history. It was a time of innovation, power struggles, and cultural growth. From the early Tu culture to the late Shang dynasty, this era laid the groundwork for the China we know today. Join us next time as we explore the rise of the Zhou dynasty and how it shaped China's future. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the history of China.